Hello. If you work with samples and have a really large collection of samples on your computer that you feel you are not making good use of because finding them and dragging them into your DAW or making collections of them to stick in your modular is a pain in the bum, then my friend, you need to check out this piece of software that I'm going to show you in this video. This is Sample Scout. Sample Scout is made by a friend of mine called Michael. In fact, I've actually been consulting a little bit on the development of Sample Scout because the purpose of this software is to be able to very quickly go through your sample collection, throw together collections of sounds in a heartbeat. In fact, the whole idea of Sample Scout is it can be used just with the keyboard. In fact, if you see I'm pushing tab to move between these windows, WASAD, W-S-A-N-D, to move through my sample library up and down through folders here. I press D to go in and space to stop. That's enough, mate. If I like the sound, I press E and it's now in my little set that I'm building. That was enough spiritual voices for me. Let's go up to some 80s-tastic power drums. I'd like to just auto-play this. Well, if I look at the bottom, I can actually see there are some instructions, and if I hold the question mark key, in fact, we see all these sweet little keyboard combos. P is autoplay. Oh, very nice. I mean, that's just basically my track. E to add. 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 Yeah, nice. Add. Add. Back we go. What else we got? Alpine Vox music. Here are all the folders. Yes, of course. Absolutely. Choir. Add. And in a couple of seconds, I now have the beginnings. And I can then run through the collection of sounds. I think so. Except that that voice needs to be at the bottom. So I can sort of drag it and start creating a kind of curated list with things in a certain order that I want. And if I don't really like the name, I can hit R and just call it kick. Oh, and it's prompting me for the next one. Snare. That's fine. Tom, tom, tom. Hi thing. Pump. Synth choir. And now I have far more useful names for the things that will mean something to me when I export it. We export with X. And now I'm able to export this to a folder. I can come to options, and in here I have some controls where I can actually high pass the samples as it is exported from this very program, including limit the sample rate and the bit depth. And the whole point of this is so that you can make your samples compatible with the thing that you're about to send them to. This is designed for hardware samplers and Eurorack modules that have sample playback but have quite specific needs regarding the sample playback. So you've got to have it in a certain format. You can create a preset and then save it. And if you prefix the file names, it will retain that order that you created to help you work with things in a logical way. And if you generate manifest, it will tell you where the renamed files originally came from in your collection, so that if you become incredibly famous, you can then properly attribute the samples that you've used in your music. You won't forget where they were from. Now this is cool set. Let's do a new one, and we'll call this Sample Drum Percussion. And that's because I actually really do want to create a percussion set for my Erica Synth sample drum for my modular synth. So let's go back. And here we are at the root of all my folders. Now there's something I didn't show you, which is that we can in fact flatten the folders. If I push V, what it does is it changes this to flat. And now I have 129,000 samples in a line. I literally can scrub through my entire sample collection in a line like this. And at will, fly up and down as a way of sort of having access to everything at once. It's a really nice way of discovering things that doesn't require that you go searching into deep, deep folders. Something to say about my 129,000 sample library is it is in fact running off one of the slowest drives I own. This is actually one of those lacy 5400 RPM USB drives. So it's super, super slow. Yet I can still do this, move up and down, choose things. And if I press P, I can turn on autoplay. And do this. Now, obviously, this is a fun way to kind of discover stuff and increase the chances that you're going to discover something in your sample library that you've ignored. But of course, you can search. If you press F, you can search and I can put snare in, and instantly I am able to find all of the things that have snare in the name. And so what I'm going to do now is at high speed, I am actually going to pick sounds that I want to have in my Erica Synth sample percussion library. When I find the sound that I want, I'm going to hit E, and it'll end up on this side in my little work folder. I really like the R8. And here back in folder view, I can just see where all my R8 sounds are. Yep. Oof. The electronic card is the 808 on Selected Ambient Works. 8592. Yep. Oh, actually. Don't know about that. Let's have that out. Yep. Sounds great, that. That's just a track all by itself. What about old matey Spectra Sonics? Let's have a look at the... Did you see what I did there? I just searched for Spectra and it just brought up all the Spectra Sonics. These were all a little bit massive, aren't they? Oh, there's some good stuff in here. Mate, that stuff, like these sample CDs, mate, you're not allowed to have that sound. We know what that's from. You're not allowed to that. You are not allowed to have that. And you're also definitely not allowed to sell a sample CD with it on. That too. Thanks for like getting me in trouble in turn, you shits.
Close the doors because we're going to party in here all night tonight.
Okay, so at this point, I've got a big load of sample drum percussion. In my journey, I have come across this machine. I love that. You see, the thing is, I actually also need to come up with another list of sounds. I want a kind of miscellaneous sound set that I can draw on in my modular. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new sound set right here while I'm already working on one. So there's an N and a Q, changing the active set and creating a new one. So if I create a new one and I want sample drum misc cool sounds, and I go yoink. And if I press Q, I can actually see the various active sets that I have. I've got my cool set. I was working on that. Here's the percussion I'm assembling. And the whole idea here is you can kind of fly around your folders and basically assemble collections of sounds. And so bear with me and I'll speed ahead and I'll create a cool sound set. Yep. kind of need a rave stabs one as well, don't I? That would slay. N. Rave stabs, mate. Erica sample rave stabs, mate. And in it goes. Oh, okay.
Tempo has reached critical level.
That's kind of cool, isn't it? Q. Where was it? Cool sounds. Oink into it.
This is prepare yourselves for a jack attack.
Everybody, come on!
Mate.
Music make you lose control.
Gotta have music, gotta have house music.
Just legal precedents. We're unprecedented. Mate.
Close the door.
Party people leave.
Mate.
Come on, you.
Tank fly, boss walk, jam.
Nitty gritty, I'm listening to the boy in the copyright city.
The Robot King. The Robot.
Oh, it's always funny when you find them, isn't it?
The Robot.
Yep. No. That's not a sample of Daft Punk. That's the sample Daft Punk used. And in it goes, mate.
It's out of sight.
Now, there is actually a feature that I could have been using just now and wasn't, which is that if you are adding things to multiple sets, you can hold Shift and E. And Shift and E will take the sample that you were selecting and you can just dump it straight into one of the sets. In fact, you can come up and down on the keyboard and hit Enter and that'll dump it in. But if we look down here, there's a quick add as well. I actually just push buttons 1, 2, 3 and 4 and it will chuck that sound into 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a misc sound. In it goes. That's pretty good. Shift E and then 4 to my rave stabs. So in this way, you can really just focus on the sounds and just direct them to which of the relevant sets you're building. Shift E, rave stabs. Now, I want to show you one last thing, which is that you can actually choose parts of waveforms with this little selector. If you push C, we can come in here and we can actually pick a part of a waveform that we want to have, and we can clip it here. Clip to active set in order to sort of slice this little thing. We can zoom in on the waveform and adjust it so you can kind of get all, and if you want, you can create curves by pulling this. So
It's out of sight.
and then if we clip this to the active set,
Out of sight.
then we can actually custom slice bits. This is really useful because if you have big, long sounds in here, like, there might be, on sample CDs, you can sometimes end up with one sample that's actually got like 3 samples in it. Or there's only a portion of the sound that you want to use, like a single hit from something. You can actually do that here, do the slicing, export it into the set here, there. Here's your little piece. And so when you then export this, you'll just get this custom little cut. And you've got little handles to both create a fade in and fade out. One little thing that I'd like to point out that is small but very useful is it tells me how many sounds are in the set as well. This is really important when I'm working with the Erica Synth sample drum because the sample drum can only have 64 sounds in each of its libraries. And so this really lets me pre-select, pre-consider where all the sounds are and even the order that they will appear in the machine once I've finally exported them. It's really, really good, actually. There are a few other clever little things, like in here, there's actually a little deleted memory. So if you've deleted something, you're like, I kind of want it back. Then you can click it, it will return back to the set that it was in. I think I added it to this one. Oh yeah, because we don't want that in there. But again, we push X. And here's where I'll be able to consult the manual for my Erica Synth sample drum and make sure that I am actually converting this in a way that is appropriate for that machine. I would probably high pass a lot of these elements. They're very important. So you just pre-EQing the sounds. It's really essential. Absolutely amazing that this does it. But there's another thing you can do with this, which I want to show you. And that's if I get a DAW. Et voila. Here's a DAW. Whoop. Well now, what if I just want to drag this out? What happens? Oh, mate. Amazing. I get the sound. And in fact, if I come here and rename it Kraftwerk Lawsuit, then that's the sound of the lawsuit incoming. It gets renamed as well, which is nice. And in fact, if I come here, create a new drum rack. Oh, drum rack. Let's take it all. Excuse my little indicators, they're in the way. Drag that mother hubbard onto this other hubbard. And goodness gracious, gravy and whiskers. It's right there and then. So basically, this program is both designed so that you can export these as nicely renamed sound files into a folder, formatted so that your hardware sampler will accept them willingly, and also create a manifest so that you know where they came from when the inevitable Kraftwerk lawsuit comes heading for you. But if you also work in the software realm, then you can just drag the sounds out and use this as a way of pre-selecting all the sounds that you might like to make music with, or indeed just having this open and then dragging stuff to it, because I'm sorry to say, this is faster than any of the built-in sample browsers that I've used in any of the DAWs. So Sample Scout is not a free app. I think it's $29 is what Michael is charging for it. There is a free demo, so you can give it a go, and I would encourage you just try it and see if it makes sense for you. I am not, by the way, being paid to make a video, nor do I even get a cut if you buy this. I'm doing this because I know Michael, and he's been a big supporter of me. He's a patron of mine. In sessions with him, I was consulting on this app, and I actually really, really, really think he's done something worth investigating. So I hope you'll consider checking it out. Try the demo, see what you think. That's all. Happy sampling. Bye.